What's up, cousins? It's your spiritual big brother back with another video. This one's on the topic of religion versus spirituality. What? What? I thought we already had this conversation. Yeah, but I just want to present a new perspective on it because of the times we are, the times we're in. Okay. Um, I've gained a new perspective on religion versus spirituality, and I think I made a video about this before, but I'm just gonna redo it anyway. Um, that was a lot of sass to it. Oh my god, that was a lot of sass. But I'm just making a new one, right? I feel like it's important for people to know because I feel like people have a very disgruntled view on religion because of one or two or three religions, right? And when I say that I would like to say this. I have absolutely no problem with Christianity at all. I'll be honest. I have no issue with Christianity, right? But oftentimes it's the people in the religion that makes it so difficult to trust the religion, right? And so I just want to start there. So I'm gonna have a tangent. I'm gonna start about the nature. I made a post on this on Blue Sky, but I feel like that's a conversation that needs to be had on video. So I'm about to have it on video. Oh my god, my face. Because I feel myself making light, and I don't mean it. Okay, but anyway, so religion. Religion is often defined as a, in layman terms. You know what? Let me stop trying to pull it out my ass. I just go to the post I made because do not feel like I do not feel like just remembering everything I just said. My phone is on 2%. Lord have mercy. Okay. Wait, did I tag somebody in my phone? Yes, I did. Oh my god, because I knew. Okay. So when people think of religion, they automatically think of Christianity, right? Therefore, they go for the narrative of religion is a tool to manipulate people, right? These are, and when I say these other ones, I don't mean them as a collective group, but it's just a common thing I see. So people who say this, who turn to spirituality, right? They're often people who go towards religions like Wicca or a African traditional religion, right? Which has the word religion in it, right? Or an Eastern religion, and they go under this, but call it spirituality, and that is not spirituality. It's a religion, right? But religion is defined as a system of beliefs, practices, and values centered around questions about life, the universe, and often have a higher power, divine being, a prophet, proverbs, parables, verses, or stories, however you want to say it, parakeets, however you want to say it, right? On telling you how to be a good character, right? Lord have mercy. My phone is on 1%. Okay. So even though these are spiritual practices, they are religious practices in essence because despite anything else, they still have a structure to them. They are organized, they have a structure, they have principles, they have ethics, moral codes of that nature, right? So I say all that to say this. Religion is needed. What? Religion is needed? Yes, religion is needed. Now, do you have to follow a religion? No, you don't have to. I promise you, you don't. Right? But religion is needed. I'll tell you why. Energetically, religion is a masculine energy, right? Meaning it is organized, it's structured, um, it is foundational, right? Whereas spirituality is a feminine energy, meaning it's abstract, it's expansive, it can often be chaotic, right? It Religion creates a foundation for people, right? Giving them a set of beliefs and moral code and a moral compass to help them drive them through life, right? And over almost every religion has, not in similar fashion, not the same fashion, but in similar in taste, if you will. They have a higher being, a supreme being, right? They have some prophets, they have stories, they have code of conduct, they have ethics, they have principles, they have structure, right? And despite that these are the similarities that religion share. Now, there are so many religions throughout the world. Why? Why is that? I have a question. The only question I have is, does God speak English? Does God speak English? I want you to sit with that for a moment. Do God speak English? Right? Now, while you sitting there, I want you to think about the types of different people, right? The people in the world, the people, the languages, the culture, the tongues of the people, right? The religion is spoken to the tongue of the people of the land. That's why it's so many religions. Well, one of the reasons why it's so many religions is speaking to. We're all arguing about which religion is right, right? But they are spoken through the tongue of the people that people will understand, right? Okay. And yes, they're all structured and organized differently. But when you step outside yourself, you'll see the similarities in a bunch, right? However, this is where indoctrination comes, because when you indoctrinate it, you become rigid to your religion, right? You become engulfed in your religion, right? And an unbalanced religious person becomes too boxed in to see that other people exist outside of themselves, right? They're too focused to make sure that people know that their religion is right, when religion in itself is just a foundation for people. Some people find solace in that. Some people find homes in that, and I completely get that. I've never been one of those people who wanted people to come out of their home. If that's where you feel safe in, but that's where you feel safe in. But understand there are things outside of yourself that make sense to other people outside of your culture, right? And without the willingness to connect with others outside your house, you will only know the colors on your walls. And yes, I'm reading the post I made because it was a lot, and I feel like I said a lot of good stuff that I probably was not going to remember. But that's how wars are started, right? When you are unable to see outside of yourself, outside of your home, if you are unable to see your neighbor next door, you won't be able to see the different colors, the palette of people, the palette of religions that all tell you to coexist, right? And I can't remember and we'll talk Christianity terms biblically. There's a scripture, there's a verse, and I do not remember it, but there's a verse where God scrambled the tongues of people, and that's where the different languages came from, right? So, how do you expect God to get that language across for other people if they're unable to understand the language that the other person is talking? I want you to understand that, okay? So that's how wars are started. Now, mind you, like I said, religion is needed because it provides you a foundation. I had an evangelist when I was going to church. She said the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. And that always stuck with me because the basic instructions, meaning there are advanced instructions to it, right? And so it gives you that foundation when you're balanced, when you're able to plant your feet on the ground. It allows you to touch grass, right? You are able to have a home to come back to when you go too far in the deep end of spirituality. And now, speaking of spirituality, it's the complete opposite because spirituality offers a strong connection to that supreme being, right? Religion is that source. Spirituality is the transcendence of that religion, right? It's the transcendence. You're not meant to stay in religion, right? But if that's where your home is, I'm not saying go outside your home, but understand you will never grow if you're only so boxed in, right? But it offers a stronger connection to that supreme being, that's the supreme source. Spirituality is feminine. It's a feminine energy, right? That's why a lot of people are so against it because it's just like a warm femininity in itself. So of course, people are not going to be into spirituality. They're going to want to go back to structure, to the masculine, to the patriarchal energy, right? And so that's why people find spirituality in itself liberating because it's free, right? It is a personal connection to something bigger than yourself, often evolving a sense of meaning outside of yourself, purpose, and inner peace. It's the belief that it can help you connect to source, nature, or your own higher self. And unlike religion, it don't even involve organized practices, or any beliefs, right? But the feminine energy of spirituality involves intuition, receptivity, connection, and as you navigate to abstract, as you navigate the primordial waters, because that's what it is. It's chaos. Chaos is the primordial waters, right? However, the opposite end of the spectrum of when it comes to polarity of that is because of how abstract and chaotic spirituality can be, you could easily become confused, uncertain, and lost in the sauce, right? You become lost in the sauce. That's where you see a lot of people go through spiritual psychosis, okay? Because they have nothing to ground them back to reality, right? You see them go off to the deep end. They float into space, never be able to touch grass. Sometimes you see these type of people homeless because they went into the deep end without a life jacket, right? And so this is where and I promise you, I'm reading everything I posted. But this is where you see people like B. Simone coming back because the B. Simones of the world, went off into the deep end, right? They got lost in the sauce and they found themselves in too deep into something they didn't fully understand, right? And that's where they can make blanket statements as that because they can never admit to themselves, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a foundation. I was not ready to go up in the deep end. Or I went into the deep end not knowing how to swim, right? So religion is needed because so you can ground yourself when you go too far out. Spirituality is also needed so you can see yourself in true form and connect to a closer source. One cannot exist without the other because they're both masculine and feminine energy, right? They're both masculine and feminine energy. One cannot exist without the other. Though one was first, spirituality was first, then it was religion. But spirituality formed religion to teach people how to operate spirituality. So, in a very, very an analogy I like to use is comparing the feminine energy and the masculine energy, right? Is think of the feminine energy as paint and think of the masculine energy as the paintbrush, right? The paint without the paintbrush create abstract colors with no definition, with no form, with no shape. You don't know what it is. You just see a bunch of colors, right? The paintbrush without the paint is nothing, right? What's the point of a paintbrush if you don't have no paint, right? When you put them together, the paintbrush gives the paint the definition, the shape, the form, the whatever, and the meaning, right? And you construct the meaning. So with these two combined, you create a picture that you can fully understand and make meaning of, rather than argue on which one is better because they're both needed. So you can see this as spirituality and religion, right? I've never been against taking people's religion away because I've always been a firm believer that religion gives people something to believe in, right? And when it comes to Christianity, people, Christians and whatnot, I always encourage people to dive deeper into their religion, to dive deeper into their belief, their faith, to understand the meaning of it and everything that was either moved, removed, or hidden from it, right? Because again, not everything is what it seems, right? So I would never be one of those people, spiritualists, who bash Christians or Christianity, right? And now all religions can be used to manipulate people, but it's your duty to know when you're being manipulated or not. If you have questions, you are entitled to ask your questions, and you find that people are not answering your questions, that's when you do your own research for it. If something makes sense, God will lead you. The God that you serve will lead you towards the answer. Okay. So, with that being said, I could go on and on and on about this, right? I really just want people to understand religion and spirituality because I don't. It's a lot of back and forth when it comes to the two groups, right? The spiritualists versus the religious ones. Oh my God, right? It's a lot of back and forth going between the two, right? And one cannot understand the other. But if people will stop yelling in each other's ear, they'll be able to understand the perspective each one brings, right? Because if I was to cherry pick the Bible like most people do, there are verses in the Bible that says, and I cannot give you the the book. I can give you that, but I just know it's a verse, right? There's a verse in the Bible that says the house of mm, what is it? The house of God, the temple of God is not made by man's hands. Heaven is the throne and earth is the footstool. And I wish I knew about heart. But I wish I knew about heart, right? But it's a verse that contains nature. God, it was like, God, if I created all of this, what do I need a temple for? Again, if you are a church going person, please do not let this deter you from going to church. If that's your thing, if that's what you find peace in, that please continue to go. There's also a verse that says, "Seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you." In another verse, it's also stated, "The kingdom of heaven is lies within you." So with these three verses combined, one may say that you don't need a middleman to connect with God. You don't need a middleman to connect with Jesus. You don't need a middleman to connect with your faith, your belief. But if that provides you comfort, home, and family and security, by all means, do that, right? But if it's also no longer a safe place, understand that where two or three are gathered, there I am also, right? So you don't need a big group, right? So with that being said, I say I want people to be able to come to their own conclusions on their belief system. I'm not here to change nobody's minds. I don't care to change nobody's minds, right? But I do want people to come up with their own mindset, their own. I encourage that heavily. And wherever you decide, you'll know you'll be walking in your authentic truth, your truth. Okay. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, I know I stuttered a lot. I know I was looking down a lot. I know I took pauses. I hope you followed. I hope you picked up what I was putting down. And until next time, I'll see you later, friends, cousins.